My name is Jen Anderson. I am 36 years old. I am a very normal person in so many ways. The way that I am not normal is that I have metastatic breast cancer. It's also called stage 4 breast cancer. It's also terminal breast cancer, which is the word that no one likes to talk about when we're talking about breast cancer. I was diagnosed with breast cancer for the first time in March of 2012. The day that I was diagnosed, the breast surgeon cried when she looked at me and told me that I had breast cancer. So that's how I knew that it was really bad. I'd gone in that morning to find, because I thought my breast was weird. I was 32 years old. I had no reason to think that anything was wrong or super scary. So I just went to my regular OB-GYN, and when the OB-GYN felt it and did an exam, she said, "I'm concerned about this mass." And that word really set my radar up. So I immediately, when I got out of that appointment, I went out to my car and I sat in my car and I called every business card that she'd given me for breast surgeons. And the very last business card was able to get me in on that same day. I had to call my husband with the news that I had breast cancer while he was at work, because the appointment that I'd gone to wasn't a scary appointment. So I remember sitting on the edge of the exam table, swinging my legs, wearing a hospital gown, and listening to myself tell him that I have breast cancer. And the surrealness of that moment is something that lingers with us both. We still pinch ourselves 4 years later that this is something that's part of our life. My reality is that every day cancer is spreading and growing inside of my body, which is, like, I listen to myself say this and I just can't quite believe it. The hardest part about being a metastatic breast cancer patient at the age of 36, not that there's an easy age for it, is that I have a wonderful family and a life that I'm very proud of having built. My husband is amazing and he is a rock for me. My daughters now are 8 years old and 4 years old, so I have a third grader and a preschooler, and they're amazing and they're the light of my life. And what metastatic breast cancer means to me is that at any given time, I could find out that the expectation from the medical team is that I have 8 weeks to live. That could happen tomorrow, and that is something that I absorb in my everything I do as I go about every day. Every birthday that my kids have had for the last 4 years, I have anticipated, or I've tried not to anticipate, rather, that this is the last one that I'll see. Every year when we set up the Christmas tree, I make us take a picture of our family setting up the Christmas tree, because I want to make sure that they remember me putting on the ornaments too. I have really been blessed by a family and a husband that really has been supportive of being memory makers. So one of the things that, so many things about our life have changed in the last 4 years. Our priorities are not normal. We do not worry about retirement savings, because if I have to worry about money when I'm retired, that will be a really great problem. Very early on, when I was diagnosed, I began to write and blog about my journey and my story, because I needed to do it to process it for myself. It was helpful to share with my friends and family, to know what was going on with us. And then I also view it as something that one day when my girls are older, they will very much appreciate having their mama's words to read. And I like to think that we'll sit down together and they'll be in their 30s and they'll be having small children playing at their feet, and we'll read my words together and laugh about how Greta spilled peas all over the place when she was a baby, and look, her baby just did that too. And I hope that we do those things together. But I'm not promised that, and so I also view my writing as something that if I'm not there to share it with them, then it'll be a way for them to know me. And I think that right there is the loneliest part of my journey, because I think multiple times a day about leaving my kids and what will they remember and how will they know me and who will make their lunch and who will buy their prom dress and teach them to drive. And I know that their dad will do a lot of those things, and their dad is amazing, but there's also just a very real raw element that I love them and I want to do those things and I ache to do those things, and I know that they ache to do those things. My medical team tells me that I will die. They are truth tellers and that's their job, and there are outliers statistically that don't die and that they live with metastatic cancer in their bodies for a long time, and I hope to be one of those. But the reality, the statistical reality of that is that it's a very, very, very unlikely thing. It is more likely that I will die in the next year than it is that I will live for another 10. So even saying that out loud makes me cue on to my position, my reality. So very early on, I developed a mindset, or I felt like I needed to develop a mindset to try to wrap my mind around my new reality. And I came up with the mission of do today well. So my goal for myself became do today well. If I could put my head on the pillow at the end of the night and remember the memories that I'd made with my kids that day, and the kisses I'd given my husband that day, and the smiles and the laughter that I'd shared that day, then I could feel really good about that. The first time that we shaved my head, we did it on the back patio on a very beautiful, gorgeous, sunny day in April. We had about 30 people on our back patio, and we shaved my head. And what I remember about that day is the crispness of having very little hair on your head, which most women do not know that feeling, and it is a delicious feeling to be that exposed. As the hair, they'd buzz the hair and then it would just blow away in the wind. And I remember thinking that there was lots of strawberry blonde birds' nests in our neighborhood that year because my hair was just blowing all over the place. And it was an energy of happiness, and it was an energy of fun, and I'm proud of how we did that. And that's a good example of how our family chooses to do today well.
Wow, what an example of courage, bravery. Jen couldn't be here tonight, and Les, we want to give from SVG Motors to Tina's Angels. I think this is an amazing thing that you guys are doing. Can you see to it that Jen gets this donation? I don't know how that works. But.
Yes, we'll take care of it. I'll give it to the people at Tina's Angels, who is my son and board of directors. And Tina's Angels is a nonprofit organization, and we have no paid employees, so 100% of this money goes to the people that we serve.
Well, God bless you, Les, and Troy, and those of you that created this foundation. Les, thank you very much.
We want to thank SVG Motors for the kind donation, and we appreciate your help.
You're welcome. Those of you at home, reach out if you can. On the screen here, we have some contact information for Tina's Angels. Troy and Debbie both are more than happy to help out any way they can. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would like to thank Steve Van Gorder and SVG Motors and SVG Chevrolet for their generous contribution and donation to Tina's Angels, especially around the Christmas holiday season, to help impact some families that are battling breast cancer in the area. Each one of these young ladies has her own unique story and a unique story to tell, and the donation that you have made has gone a long way, and we just want to say thank you very much from Tina's Angels.